as we digest the abysmal showing in the international friendly. Also up ahead tonight, Lands and Natural Resources Minister takes fight against legal mining to Northern Chiefs asking for help. Tonight, at least half a dozen people killed in renewed Nkwanta conflict. To check the pulse of the community as police deploys there. Ghana Tonight is streaming live on Facebook.com, X.com, 3news.com, and YouTube. If you'd like to be a part of the program, you always can. And remember to use the hashtag Ghana Tonight. Let's kickstart tonight with the summaries of the big stories.
President Mahama is calling on international partners to recognize Ghana's position on LGBTQ issues, stating public policy is grounded in legal traditions, cultural context, and consensus. He emphasized that decisions on LGBTQ matters are not made in isolation, but are shaped by the country's constitution and the collective views of the people.
I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, and so the representatives of the people will discuss the bill, and once they pass it, then it comes up to the presidency. And the Constitution gives various pathways for dealing with it. If I object to the bill, I can send it back to the Parliament. If there are issues that need to be dealt with, we have the Council of State, which is a superior body. I can refer to the Council of State for advice. And so there are many issues that are still playing out. But I believe that our international partners should understand that public policy is grounded in our legal traditions, in our cultural context, and in our social consensus. And all those issues are playing out as we speak.
President Mahama has directed the Ghana Irrigation Development Authority to commit the majority of its irrigation schemes across the country to tomato production for now. This immediate measure is aimed at making Ghana self-reliant, while the government strategizes to avert possible shocks following the ban on fresh tomato exports by Burkina Faso. Dr. Peter Boama is the director of the Presidential Initiative in Agriculture and Agribusiness.
In the immediate shortest possible time, we commit majority of the irrigation schemes across the country to the production of tomatoes. What we know is that most of these schemes, you produce various crops at will, because it is your decision on which crop that you have to produce to feed the market. And so mostly these schemes that could produce tomato throughout the year is not doing so. And so with this new strategy, what we are here to do is to engage the farmers, to engage you, so that you appreciate the challenges that we are going through.
The Gbese District Court has cleared the way for the extradition of Frederick Kumi, known as Abu Trika, rejecting arguments that the case against him is politically motivated or based on entrapment. He has been given 15 days to challenge the decision in the High Court. The court took the position that there was no proof that the case is political, explaining that such claims must involve a political conflict or struggle, which does not apply here. The court also noted that the issue of entrapment should be addressed during the main trial, not at this stage. The Electricity Company of Ghana has warned of increasing fire risks in homes and businesses as some customers continue to exceed their approved electricity load without notifying the company. The Western Regional Manager of ECG, Engineer Emmanuel Ofori, was speaking during a media engagement at the Kitan bulk supply point near Second D.
Anytime the customer is increasing its demand, it is necessary that that customer informs you so that we can upgrade the meter. First of all, the meter that we brought to the home, and then the cables that comes to the house. You know, the usual single phase meter is up to about 80 amps. So if you are increasing your load beyond that level, then there's a need to upgrade your meter for you.
Financial and tax analyst Nelson Kujo is calling on government to offer highly competitive interest rates as it prepares to re-enter the domestic bond market, warning that a successful return hinges entirely on investor appetite and the market's realistic pricing. Government is set to re-enter the domestic bond market with a 7-year CD-denominated issuance on March 30, 2026, marking its first such move since the 2023 debt restructuring program.
Expect some level of readjustment in terms of the price. And so once that is done, a lot more activity will go into the bonds that the government will issue. We also expect the rates to hover around the DDP bond rate. Once that is done, it will serve as an incentive to investors. And so we are keenly watching the market to see how the reintroduction of the bonds into the markets will have a general impact on the Ghana's capital markets.
Ghana's Black Stars suffered a heavy 5-1 defeat to Austria in an international friendly, raising concerns ahead of upcoming competitive matches. Austria took control early, scoring in the 13th minute and adding 2 more goals to take a 3-0 lead.
Ghana Brief, therefore, if you just joined us, it's Ghana Tonight live on TV3 and on 392.7 FM. I am Kemini. Oh, God. I am Kemini Amano. Now, let's get into the Black Stars match right now. Crushing defeat in a friendly for the Black Stars against Austria. What it says about the future fortunes of the Ghana side. Let's get into that now. Tonight, Ghana made history. Not the kind that you think, but the Black Stars clocking its first 5-goal defeat since 2007. It sure is history-making. The Ghana side lost to Austria in a friendly that has the whole country questioning our readiness for the World Cup. On the other hand, Austria's commanding performance extends their impressive home record. Tonight is coach Otto Addo who takes responsibility for the poor showing.
Thank you for the question. I think you got something wrong. So in this club, he's playing as a defensive midfielder, never played left back. So we are having problems at that very position. We used to play in the months, also years ago, with Alidou Seydou, who had a little bit struggling after his injury to play at this club, and also Tariq Lamptey, who has a long-term injury. So Caleb jumped into that position. We have a lot of midfielders, and our problem is that side. And we now, we're happy to get Marvin. So now he's new to the system. So we have to see for the future. At the moment, we didn't have much options on the right side, to be honest. We have a lot of options in the midfield with Elisha Wusu, Ibrahim Sulemana. And there are others who are not called, that's why he predominantly played there. And surely it's easy now to say, oh, he didn't do well there, but he also, especially when we won and we qualified for the World Cup, he had brilliant games in that position. These are one of these days, I think he's 20 years old, or 19, 20 years old, so he has to learn, a lot of things to learn, under this pressure to grow, and I know that he will learn all of it, so I'm not anxious for the future. He will have a bright future. He's a great player, and today was maybe just not his day. That was a little bit unlucky. Sure, we want to use these games also to give chances and also to have a competition about positions. Like I said.
So let's chat about our performance in Austria tonight. Sadiq Adams is a respected sports journalist. Murtala Yakubu is also our man in Austria for us. I'll start off with you, Sadiq. What do you think went wrong tonight?
Well, thank you very much, Kamini. I believe we've still not had a very solid team. We still not have an established team going into this game because you have a coach who is still trying a lot of new players in new positions. Some of them have never played in positions that he tried them in today's game. With weeks to the World Cup, it beggars believe why we still don't have a team despite having enough time for the coach. So I think it was always going to be wrong if you do not have players in established positions that are very key for the team going into a crucial game. It's a friendly game, but it's supposed to be a confidence-boosting game going into a big game against Germany on the 30th. So if you ask what went wrong, because we still don't have a team going into the World Cup.
For that?
Well, it's basically because for a very long time, we have refused to admit to the fact that the Black Stars are not capable of playing against very top oppositions. We get easily exposed, and that is because we do not have the requisite technical direction, something that many people have refused to also admit, including people in the Football Association. If you are going into the World Cup and you will need to beef up your technical team with 5 new technical personnel, not necessarily backroom staff, but you need 5 new coaches in addition to your head coach. Not many countries will do that kind of additions going into the World Cup if they have a very top manager who they think is capable of managing the affairs of the team. You just need to make very insignificant, additions in places of nutrition and psychology. But if you have 5 new coaches adding up to 3 head coaches,
it appears we lost Sadiq there. We'll now turn attention
it tells you that, yeah.
Right, Sadiq, finish that point.
Well, so I was making a point that if you're making a journey and you clearly do not have belief in your tie, and you have 2 or 3 more spare ties, you have admitted that you do not have the necessary tools and equipment for logistics to get you to your destination, but you do not want to admit to that. And it shows clearly in the game today. And we are going into the World Cup with such a team. It will be very difficult to change anything fundamentally from today till June.
I see. Murtala, you've been with the team. You've been covering the team in Austria. Let's talk about preparations. What did that look like ahead of the Austria game?
It was normal, just how the Black Stars prepare for every game, every friendly game that I have been to. I mean, the normal training schedules, they do their video analysis, they do their meetings and all that. And I can tell you they had very good preparation towards this game. The venue or the stadium that hosted the game today, the NS Happel Stadium, is one of the best in the world. It's actually the venue that hosted the 2008 Europe final. So it tells you a lot about that. So they had very good preparation. The only thing that I feel went wrong on the days that we were not up to speed. And also, we've been fidgeting with this squad for some time now. It seems Coach Otuado has still not found his first 11. And that is a big, big worry for us. And overall, the golfing quality shown today, even with a lot of players being on the bench for Austria, like Conrad Lemmer, even their captain Alaba did not kick a ball today. But on the pitch, you could see that there was a huge gulf in quality between Ghana and Austria. And this is a huge reality check for us because Austria is cutting the breath of Croatia, who are in our group in the World Cup. So we need to work extensively on our team if we want to make an impact at the Global Mundial.
Well, I mean, if Austria is in our group, then it sounds like a Laos situation for us if we continue at this rate. But let's get on to some more serious issues, right? Because one would also ask, what role could the robbery have played in this?
Well, it's not an issue that has really come up, even though there's you find people bickering. Officially, no confirmation has been made on that issue. And I don't think even if there was an incident like that, it could have played a role in here. I was at the stadium, I watched 90 minutes, and clearly we're not up to speed. There was no urgency. At times, the players you could see did not really get themselves integrated into the system that the coach wanted to play. A lot of new players have also come into the team. I can tell you that after the game, the glimmer of hope for many who are at the stadium or many Ghanaians who came was number 9, Prince Kwabena. Many admired his movements off the ball and on the ball as well. It's only happiness for most people who came to watch this game. Apart from that, it was a really, really poor performance, which Otuado has taken responsibility of, and he says that we will need to improve in the game against Germany, who are even better opposition than Austria.
Which brings me to you, Sadiq. Is Otuado taking responsibility enough for change? Sadiq, it seems you're muted. I can't hear you.
No.
Right, go on now. I can hear you.
Yeah, the point is that he will continue to take responsibility for all the defeat because the buck stopped with the boss. But it is not because Otuado has not accepted responsibility for the defeat, several defeats that we've chalked. But it's also because I don't think that he's up there. He's at the level of playing against some of the top managers in the world. That is fundamentally the issue with the Black Stars in terms of technical direction. So it is easy to say the coach has accepted responsibility, but game in, game out, this is the first time we've conceded 5 goals since 2007 against Saudi Arabia in a game that we went in with a very listless squad. Most of our key players were not present and not many people were interested in the game, and there was no competition coming up then. It was merely a friendly game, unlike this, where you are going against top teams in the World Cup and especially coming against Germany on next week on Monday. So taking responsibility has been the regular refrain for Otuado in several games of defeats and very listless and soulless performances. But the point is he up to task taking the Black Stars and making an impact at the World Cup? You don't want to lose to Croatia and say you've taken responsibility. You lose to Panama and say you've taken responsibility. It is not enough to take responsibility without making the substantial changes that can have an impact on the team to perform creditably well at the World Cup.
The chorus since the Austria defeat is that Otuado must go. What do you think about that call?
I don't think that Ghana Football Association is ready to change that. If they wanted to do, they would have sacked or disposed of Otuado immediately. The team failed to qualify for the AFCON the first time in many years. That was a very big blow to the national team, and to the point that the Ghana Football Association and the ministry stood behind him in such a very depressing period tells you that no matter the amount of defeats and humiliation the coach leads the Black Stars into, they are not going to change him, especially with 3 weeks to the World Cup. So the calls may come, the clarion and tears on social media may put pressure on the team. But the Ghana Football Association have vowed that Otuado is the man to take them to the World Cup. They will need to beef up the team, bring in many coaches to in terms of augmenting the technical team. But the point is, the fans want him to go, but the willpower to do so is vested in the Ghana Football Association, and I don't think that they have an iota of change or doubts over the technical capabilities of Otuado.
I want to take you up a little bit more on that, but before then, The argument also will be that Otuado may be, at the helm of affairs when it comes to the team, but he's not alone, right? So what does it take? What does this say about the team that he works with outside of the players, the other supporting, coaches in his lineup?
Well, I've been in this game for some years, and like I said, the buck stops with the boss. There are not many technical assistant coaches and other backroom staff who take credits for defeats. It's always the head coach. It is known in his contract and for what we have seen that he's the man to take charge, lead the team, make the final calls and decisions. So regardless of who comes in to support, it is his choice and call. So it is Otuado who will be called out when the team fails to perform. There is nobody in the team who will take responsibility or who is going to be blamed for the team's inability to perform in any game. In football, it is the head coach, the manager, who takes the responsibility as well as the credit when the team performs or otherwise. So Otuado may not be the only person in charge. There may be 17, 20 coaches in the Black Stars, but on the team sheets, the head coach is the one who is presumed to have control over the team. And until Kemini, he comes out to say that he's not the one with the ultimate influence and impact or managerial capacity over the team. He's the head coach of the team and must be blamed for anything that goes untoward with the team.
Right, Mutala, talk to me about the mood of the players post-match.
Not a happy one. You can see them at the team's hotel currently, and the players were just walking by with, sadness all written over their faces. You can see they're having conversation among themselves. Even after the final whistle on the pitch, they stayed on the pitch for about 5 minutes having a conversation. And clearly, the conversation, when we asked, was about the performance itself, because the players felt on the day they didn't put up the needed performance. There was not enough urgency in their game. Kemeni, there's a way to lose a football match and still get the applause of everyone, even though you lost. Because I am not too old, but I remember 2006 World Cup, for instance. We lost to Italy, but the Black Stars got the applause of everybody around the world. We were kicked out by Brazil, but we still got the applause. That is the way to lose a football match. You show urgency, you show that you want to be on the pitch. We didn't see that today in today's game. So you can see the players are very sad and they would want to make amends with an improved performance against Germany. We may not win that German game, but we want to see you play with fire. Ghanaians want to see you give them some renewed hope that if we get into the World Cup proper, we could possibly make an impact. So that is what they want to see. But for the players, clearly their body language speaks a lot, that they are not happy with what they actually did on the pitch today.
I see. The fans must really be disappointed then.
Of course, a lot of disappointments here. I never knew there were a lot of Ghanaians in Austria. We spoke to a number of them. Nigerians also were in here for some obvious reasons. They came to watch the Black Star play. I spoke to a number of Nigerians and they were also disappointed. They said that in as much as Coach and Co, they came to do against, they expected the Black Stars to give more. For the Ghanaians, they feel that, some traveled all the way from London, Germany to come watch this game, and the Black Stars, they didn't show enough fight like what they want to say, even though they know that the Austrian team is filled with some quality. Most of the Austrian first team players did not even play. Just a couple of them, Sabiza and the rest. Anatovic was on the bench, as I said. Alaba, they didn't even kick a ball today. So we expected to see more from the Black Stars, and we are hoping, as Otuado said, we would have to improve our performance a lot against Germany than what we saw today. But the fans left disappointed again.
Right, so gentlemen, let's review the game tonight, right? What were some of the mistakes that led to the goals that we saw?
Tactically, I think we didn't have it right. The way we set up was a clear recipe for disaster. We set up a bit defensive, which to me wasn't right. We tried to play from the wings, which was not working. Fatai Sahaku, Antoine Semenyo. By the way, Antoine Semenyo is doing brilliantly at club level, but whenever he's been with the Black Stars, it's not been good enough. He's played over 30 games, scored just 3 goals. So it should give you an idea of how he's struggling with the Black Stars. And it continued tonight because people expected to see more from him. Midfield, I think Thomas Partey did well, but his partnership with Kwesizibo was a bit questionable because the Austrians played through. And defensively, I think we are missing a big player in Salisu because Jiku playing with Ajite, it looks like Ajite is now beginning to learn how Jiku plays, so they must stick together. And also, at right back, I think that Otoado needs to take a firm decision to move Caleb Renchi from the right back to the midfield because he's shown that he's not the right back. With the mistake that he made today, he should be brought into midfield because at Norgeland, his club side, he plays in the midfield. And I asked Otoado one question because I didn't understand why Ghana were losing by 3-1, and we rather switch from a back 4 to a back 5. It looks like instead of going to get goals, look for the equalizer, we were rather defending and preventing the Austrians from scoring more. He said it was a tactical decision, which I think was not the best because it didn't help our cause at all. So in the end, I think it was down to tactics. We didn't get it right today, and we must admit that we didn't get it right.
I see, Sadiq, I'll ask you, same. What did you see and, that you thought went wrong with the game tonight?
Well, I also emphasize on the gulf in quality, especially seeing Austria playing with most of their key players and star men on the bench and still trouncing the Black Stars to this game. Events that in terms of technical capacity, they were way ahead. Ralph Rangnick has been a top manager, managing clubs like Manchester United and some Champions League clubs. So pairing him to Otoado or comparing them on the field of play, even from the technical bench, looks like a defeat facing you before you start the game. And on the pitch, you clearly could see that there is one team that has set up very well to weigh and size the opposition before the attack. And so after the first half, when they were leading by 1 goal, they came into the game having identified some loopholes and key weaknesses in the Black Stars, and we had still not settled in the game. And so it was very clear that we set up poorly, technically, and we were still making trial and error in terms of selection. Players who had never played, like I emphasized earlier on, players who had never featured in certain positions were being tried because we still lack key players in certain key positions, especially in defense. And Muchala mentioned Antoine Semenyo. If you have Pep Guardiola having belief and confidence in a player, paying such an amount for him, coming into a club like Man City and being an instant hit, and such a player is not able to flourish in your team, it tells you that you are not being able to press the right buttons and tighten the right screws and bolts. It's a very difficult situation, but we lost the game because we set up poorly. The technical direction was not really on top. And on top of that, I will also say that we do not have the quality players to match up with any top opposition in the world at the moment.
I see. And that, it appears to be in tandem with what we've heard the Austria coach say, that it may not be the coach's fault. It may be because, even if we had a different coach, quoting him, even if we had a different coach, the results would not have been any different. Sadiq, you agree with this?
Very well, because he's a coach, and not many coaches will berate their opponent's coaches. They will try to offer some words of comfort, especially after beating them by 5-1. You will definitely have to pat them at the back and encourage them. So I understand Ralph Rangnick when he says that Otoado should not be emotional, but the point is that we have so many defects and weaknesses in the team, and one of the areas is the technical team. So take that one out, and I agree with Ralph Rangnick because even without Otoado, the kind of players we have in the Black Stars today and their substitutions, the bench, tells you clearly that we do not have a quality team, solid enough. When I say quality team, I do not mean players who are playing at the top or players who can dribble or players who are in big clubs. When I talk about a team, I mean the team as we sent to the World Cup in 2010. Young players who had featured prominently and played consistently together. That is a team. We do not have a team because for years we have continued trying players in new positions and never had a core team going into any tournament. So I understand when the coach wants to encourage Otoado because he's one of the problems, and there are a myriad of problems that the Black Stars are confronted with. And so without Otoado, any other manager on the bench today would have even been a disaster. But he is also a very big problem for the team.
Murtala, your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, the subject of Otuado.
I mean, on the subject of the Austria coach's position.
Ragnick. Yeah, he's saying that we should not be emotional about Otuado. And what I deduce from that is that he's telling us straight out, you people do not have enough quality. Even if you bring the great Sir Alex Ferguson, I will still win by that margin. That is what I deduce from this. He says that he knows Otuado very well. Otto played in Germany. He knows Otto is good. And once Otto was able to qualify the team to the World Cup, then he believes Otto is a good manager. So from all that he said, I am deducing this, that he is saying we do not have the quality to match a top opposition. But he says that, I mean, it's a few months to the World Cup. What would you do? Would you want to change the manager at this time and bring in a new manager, which means you have to start the whole process to get again? And I mean, senior Sadiq Adams said something that if the FA wanted to do away with Otto, it would have happened right after we failed to qualify for the AFCON. So it means he's the man that they are sticking with. I only think that the technical team will have to sit around the table and go back to the drawing board. I mean, see where it went wrong for us against Austria. And as I said, we may not win against Germany because, I mean, Germany is cutting the breath of England, France. I mean, these are the top nations. We may not win against them.
I mean, we may not win, but perhaps we could improve our form, which is what I want us to look at now, right?
Of course, we need to improve our form. We need to show more firepower. We need to show more urgency because this is something that was lacking in our game. I could count the number of opportunities we had in today's game. There were a few opportunities, about 3 of them, not good enough for a team that wants to play at the World Cup. And people are saying that, yes, there were some players who were not part of the team, like Mohamed Kudus. But, I mean, this is the World Cup. Injuries could happen. What do you do if Mohamed Kudus fails to make it to the team for the World Cup? Where do you go from here? That is why you have friendly matches, to give opportunities to others, to see where the loopholes are. I feel that we need to improve massively, not just on the pitch, but technically we need to improve. We need to map up strategies to be able to contain our opponent. What we saw today from Austria, we may even see times 10 of that against Croatia when we play the World Cup proper. Because Croatia have quality than Austria. I can tell you that.
Wow. I'm scared already. But Sadiq, right, we may be stuck with Coach Otuado, whether by design or by, you know, fact of the time that we find ourselves in. World Cup in the rear, the Germany match also in a matter of days. We may have players who do well at the club level, but as a Black Star team are not able to gel up to give us the kind of performance that we want. But we still have games coming up. What are the changes you want to see to improve form?
Well, at this point, the national team is not like a club where you can recruit players at any time when the window is opened. You are limited and stuck with what you have. The fact that we could not go in for the likes of Hudson-Odoi and some players who had made the intentions of being ready to play for the national team when we qualified meant that the quality will still be restricted to what we have at the moment. In the past, we could rely on some top domestic players, like the 2006 World Cup, where we could rely on Habib Mohamed and some players who were in the loop.
Oh, it seems we lost Sadiq, but I'll try Murtala. Murtala, same question to you. What changes do you hope to see in the Germany match?
What changes? I must start from the technical point. We need to map up strategies that would be able to get our best players to play well, because Antoine Semenyo cannot continue playing well at club level for Manchester City, but when it comes to the Black Stars, he's a pale shadow of himself. So you need to find a strategy that would get your best players to play well, and it happens everywhere. Argentina will map up strategy to get Lionel Messi to play well, because if you know that Lionel Messi is at 80% of his game, there are chances that the others could also play well, and there are higher possibility that you will win the game. Every country has that star player. So we need to find strategies that would get our players playing well. That is the first point. And the second point, I think our players need to improve their performance. Most of them have put on a lackadaisical attitude, especially in friendly matches. They do not exert enough energy on that, and that needs to change as well. Because I mean, if not for anything at all, you have fans traveling all the way from all over the world to come and watch you, and they need to go back with something positive. So we need to improve all aspects of our game. If not, I asked Otoado, for instance, that it's been Benjamin Asari in post for the last couple of months. Today you bring in Atizigi, we concede 5. And he says that you can't even blame Atizigi for the goals that we conceded, especially the first 2 goals that we conceded. And he's giving opportunity to every single player to still justify themselves, even though we know, we have a fair idea that there are some players who will already be in the plane to the USA, like Jordan Ayew, Thomas Partey, but other players also needs to justify their inclusion. And as I said, everyone is talking about Prince Kwabena Edu. Even though we lost by 5-1, everyone is saying he was a shining spot in a gloomy day for us. So I think we need to improve massively. We need to show fire. We need to show desire. We need to show hunger. And above all, tactically, we need to map up a strategy to be able to contain our opponents and to be able to get the best out of our star players like Mohamed Kudus and Antoine Semenyo.
Well, Mutala, keep safe. We'll see you in Germany. Thank you so much for the report. We just said from 3 Sports, Mutala Yakubu, who is a man with the Black Stars team in Austria. We'll bring you updates on that match also in Germany. But we also had sports journalist Sadiq Adams, who shared his very insightful thoughts with us on this subject matter. But it's not only the experts we're hearing from. Here are some fans' reactions for you.
Bro, we go collect. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. The blasters is not looking good at all. Bro, the coach Akasa is a problem. Like, the coach itself is a problem. So I don't have any expectation. So wherever we are going, the World Cup, we should lower our expectation. Maybe something might happen, but for now, I have zero expectation for Blasters. What do you expect from Ghana against Germany? Oh, this is our first friendly match, isn't it? So inshallah, we will improve on that, inshallah. So this match is for the start. We are now seeing our feet. So we know how to play the final game, inshallah. A friendly match, but we aren't expecting this. We expect maybe 2 against 1 Australia, but 4-0 is too much. It's too much. Actually, I've even lost confidence that I brought from the home. I'm so sorry we got this, and we are expecting that maybe next game, Ghana will do the best. After this game, I don't know what to say, but all I'm expecting is that the coach should just play the right people at the right places. That's what's going to help. And the try and error stuff is not going to help. We are building a formidable team that will be able to implement and play well at the World Cup. So if we are going to use this as a try and error, we will never see the best out of the players. All we have to do is go back to the drawing board, work hard. I think Otoado has a lot to do. Because looking at what happened in this game against Austria, we could see that we are still lacking behind. If you look at the World Cup, you have big teams. We have England in there. We have Croatia in there. So against Germany, which is a contender for the World Cup, playing against Germany, Ghana should do better than Austria. So I think Otoado has a lot of work to do here.
Let's turn attention to illegal mining in still Ghana tonight here on TV3 and on 392.7 FM. Now, illegal mining fight has been taken to the north, and the chiefs will be involved. Tonight, Lands Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa is seeking the help of overlords in the northern and savannah regions to support government efforts to tackle illegal mining. Tonight, the minister says government will support miners with skills training and provision of appropriate equipment. Government also plans to create designated mining zones under a cooperative framework. We'll head now to Damango, where correspondent Christopher Amwako is based for a general understanding of the state of Galamsey activities in the area as compared to what we see in the south. Christopher, what would you say?
Yes, so Kevin, the story that we hear from the south when it comes to Galamsey is not too different from what we are seeing in the northern parts of the country. I have been to the Upper East region. You talk about areas around Tilly. You talk about the Tilly River, the Tilly Forest. you go to Bani, all in the Upper East region. Now, when you come to the Savannah region, we talk about Dollar Power, we talk about Tinga, we talk about other mining communities in the Savannah region, and in the Upper West region as well, where I've been to, we talk about the Zongo Yiri Yori area, where we have the Black Volta and these mining communities where these mining activities take place. And when they are done, first of all, we look at the environmental degradation, the extent at which the environment is being destroyed. It's very appalling. Tilly River, the Tilly Forest, as we speak, is fast depleting because of the mining activities that take place there. Now, the Black Volta River, a research conducted by Tama Foundation with the Water Research Institute indicates that there are high levels of cyanide and mercury in the Black Volta around these areas, and it is very alarming. The volumes are above the WHO recommended threshold, and it is very alarming. Now, you go to some of these areas in the Upper East region. When we visited, for instance, we are told that there are some birth defects when it comes to the children that are born. If you go to the Bamboy area in the Savannah region, we are hearing same stories from these areas as a result of some mining activities on the river body. So the only difference, Kemini, that we are not seeing is the fact that if you go to the south, we see a lot of excavators being used. Over here, it is beginning to be introduced, but it is not that much as we see in the southern parts of the country. But aside that, the destruction of the water bodies and the environment, everything looks basically the same. It's
I
just
see,
that
Christopher, do you think that we're making any headway up north in regards to the fight against Galamsey?
We are making some little headway because, it is very good that now the ministry is engaging the traditional authorities. You know that every community in the northern part of the country has a chief. And these chiefs have authority over what happens in these areas. And so now that the chiefs are being involved, then it means that these chiefs can talk to the people around, and the respect that these chiefs command in these areas. Yes, obviously, once they are in the picture, we will see something good. We've also seen, for instance, in the Bole area, because of the Blue Water Guard people, we are seeing their patrols on the water bodies. Some people have been arrested, some machines confiscated. Yes, we are beginning to see some changes, but because of that fight in the southern part of the country, we are beginning to see some influx of the southerners and other foreigners coming into the northern part of the country, and we are now beginning to see more and more people going into Galamsey in the mining communities.
Hang in there for me. I'll bring in now Pakwesi Shando, who's the Director of Communications at the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. He's also, he also speaks for NIMOS. And Pakwesi, good evening to you. I appreciate your time with us tonight. We know that the northern and Savannah regions are co-opted into the 21 zones in the fight against Galamsey. NIMOS has been working there. Talk to us about why you need the buy-in of the traditional leaders.
Well, so first of all, good evening, and I'm privileged to be part of this evening's conversation once again. The reason it has become very important for us to engage the local authorities in that particular enclave is that when it comes to the fight against illegal mining, one of the factors that you cannot ignore is the complicity of the local authorities in some jurisdictions. Indeed, it is on record that if you go to certain areas in Ghana, the reason illegal mining is prevalent and prominent is the fact that most of the local authorities, or let me say some of them, have decided to take a back seat, and they have basically compromised their original duties as vanguards of their communities, thereby allowing the illegalities to fester. So drawing from that, it logically presupposes that if you have the buy-in and the support of the local authorities, you'll be able to make headway. And now, because we have been able to realize that there are some significant incursions of legal mining in the northern belt of the country, then the way to go is to, of course, engage the authorities there, get their buy-in, get their support, and then engage them as collaborators in that regard. Because if you do not do it, and if peradventure, I'm not saying that they are given to being bought whatsoever, but it is better to be, to exercise caution than to be sorry. So in essence, the engagement is because we know that if they are on the other side, it will not be to our advantage. Thankfully, we've been able to strike that kind of good collaboration with them, and we hope.
So Pakwesi, by that reasoning, what are your expectations of these traditional leaders?
Well, so we expect, first of all, that they support and complement the operations of the National Anti-Legal Mining Operations Secretariat, because in recent times, there are certain areas in the country that when NIMOS deployment reaches these areas, there is actually local resistance. We have on record some areas where the local folks actually resist the operations of NIMOS. So now that we have the buy-in or the support of the local authorities in the northern belt, the expectation is that they'll support the activities of NIMOS, and then also they went back and support local education and sensitization programs, so that those who want to still be in the venture of mining will do so, and do so responsibly for that matter.
I see. I want to talk about NIMOS activities in these regions. Our correspondent is just telling us, look, initially there were no excavators. More recently, we are seeing the introduction of excavators in certain areas. What has been the extent of work that NIMOS has done in these regions, these two, the northern and Savannah regions?
So we all know, basically there are 16 administrative regions in the country, but when it comes to illegal mining, 6 of them are more prominent, vis-a-vis the Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, North, and then some parts of the Eastern region. But much recently, like your reporter confirmed, we have seen that there are certain incursions into the northern belt of the country as well. It is not as intense, but because it is already rearing its head, it's important for you to nip it in the bud. So in the NIMOS permanent deployment, which has effectively begun, we have actually added the northern belt, and because the situation there is not so dire, we want to stop it even before the situation escalates. So yes, indeed, there have been a few movements in there, but the situation is very much under control, especially now because that we have, because for the fact that we've been able to speak to the local authorities there, we hope that it doesn't escalate, so that the northern belt of the country doesn't become, let me say it advisedly, another Ashanti region or another Western or Western North region. So that is the situation. It is looking threatening, but NIMOS has it under control.
Thank you very much, Pakwesi Shando, for your time tonight. And Christopher, I appreciate the reporting. We've just been talking about the latest efforts to nip illegal mining in the Savannah and northern regions. The minister has been there. He's bringing in the assistance of the traditional leaders there as well. It's still Ghana Tonight here on TV3. We're also live on 392.7 FM. I'll take a break now. When we come back, let's check the pulse of Nkwanta South Municipality in the OT region. The regional minister talks to us for the first time since renewed clashes there. Don't go away. Welcome back. It's still Ghana Tonight. Tonight, police reinforcement is on the ground in Nkwanta after violent attacks in the Tens community. At least 5 people have been killed in these latest attacks. Police say the deployment carried out last night is to restore calm in the area. Let's bring you more from their statement later. Tonight, we also know that the police are asking for cooperation in the Nkwanta South municipality. And as I told you before the break, the regional minister is speaking for the first time on this matter. John Japon is joining me. Minister, good evening to you. I appreciate your time here on the program. But let's start off with the number of people who have been killed as a result of this. There appears to be conflicting numbers. What does RECSEC know?
Yeah, good evening, good night. RECSEC is aware that since last week, maybe up to now, from Monday, 6 people have been killed. 3 people were killed on Tuesday, and then 2 on Wednesday, and 1 on Thursday. That makes it 6, as what we are aware.
I see. What led to these fresh or latest attacks? As you know, what has RECSEC learned?
The RECSEC had met about it so many times, and we're surprised that this thing is coming back. Initially, we thought peace has come up, and everything in Nkwanta was going well. I even wanted to request to withdraw the curfew. The Peace Council came to Nkwanta. There was a resolution by all the chiefs who we think are having problems with each other. And so we were very confident that there will be peace. Only after that, 7 days after that, we had 2 people were killed in Kerry, where they went to the farm, they were caught, they were shot and killed on the farm. Back to Kerry the following day, someone and the son were just relaxing under a mango tree in Kerry. They were shot, but fortunately the father didn't die, but the son died. 5 days after that, 3 people went to the farm. A father and 2 children went to the farm in Nkwanta, and they were killed, burnt. The following day in the morning, we heard that a house was burnt. 2 people, a mother and a child, were also killed and burnt. The following day, a boy who took cows of his father for grazing in Nkwanta was also killed.
I see. And Minister, all of these things are happening despite a curfew, despite law enforcement presence in the municipality. What are we not getting right if all of these things could still happen while there is a system in place to keep calm?
These things are happening this time in the bush. This time, this thing happens in the bush. The Kerry issue was on a farm. During the day, the one at Kerry was also in the day. The one at Shari Road, where 3 people were killed and burnt, was also in the bush. The only one that came or that happened in the town was in the night when the house was burnt and killed. So for now, most of the killings are done in the farm.
I see. But Honorable, the point I'm making is that we still have law enforcement on the ground, which means that in the very least, we are monitoring the situation in Nkwanta. And so is this an intelligence failure?
No, it is, like I said, hitherto it was in the town itself, where the curfew and everything is, where we thought there was peace. And now it is in the bush, on the farms, in the day, where, people are in the bush and they are shooting, difficult to get. We thought there was a mistake. We have asked that they give us a drone to look at what is happening, so that at least the first time when we said there was a drone around, people are arrested in the bushes. By this time, the drones were taken away, and that is why they decided to go back to the bush and started killing people on the farms, on their farms.
I see. And you told us earlier that RECSEC met as a result of this matter. We also know that police reinforcement is on the ground. Based on how things are changing in Nkwanta now, what are the new steps that RECSEC hopes to take to ensure that there are no more killings now and in the near future?
Yeah, we have initially, everybody will say that what happened in the past had nothing to do with chieftaincy or had nothing to do with land. It was also only because of rituals that people wanted to perform, and others would not want the ritual to be performed on their land, and it created a problem. But from what we are seeing now, it is not about that. It looks like a group of people think that they own the land in Nkwanta. Yes, they own the land. And any other person came to meet them there. And for that matter,
I see,
they are taking back their land. We want to take back your land, go to court. But they want to do the other way. They want to attack the people, kill them, and let them get out of the place. That is what is happening.
I see. So what will the Regional Security Council, which you're head of, do differently to keep people safe in Nkwanta now?
Yeah, this observation that I'm putting across was seen only recently when some particular tribe goes, makes a lot of videos, talking to people, telling people this is what is happening. We are the owners of the land. Before we came, there was nobody here. Today, people are taking over the land from us, and we are not going to allow that. There are a lot of, areas that we have now, and we are putting them together. At the right time, we'll put up a good position to government so that we see how best this thing can be done. It is clearly power. People think that Nkwanta is now developing, it's becoming a good place, and it has developed,
very well,
and they think that they should own it. Yeah, that is what is happening now in Nkwanta. It is about the land, and it's about Nkwanta, and it's about Nkwanta South.
Very well. Minister, we'll leave it here for now. I appreciate your time with us. We'll keep an eye on Nkwanta going forward and see if any new developments emerge. We'll bring them to you, our viewers. But while we are wrapping up, correspondent Faisal Abdul-Idris has been checking the pulse of the community tonight, and he'll share his observations with us. Faisal, what can you tell us?
I mean, it is interesting listening to the Oti Regional Minister, John Japon Kujo. Just a few days back, a session of the faction, one of the factions in Nkwanta actually called for his removal. I don't know if you recall that. There is a press statement in circulation to that effect. And having listened to him now, I see where this is going. But as far as the municipality is concerned, several more security personnel have been deployed to the police. Several armored vehicles have been seen around the main Nkwanta township. Schools have been shut indefinitely. This morning, we're told that we would not be told as at when schools will resume. But as I speak to you, schools have been shut temporarily. I mentioned earlier that the Nkwanta stretch is a transit point for many people traveling from the Volta and the Greater Accra Eastern region towards the north. Those who are not using the Kumasi stretch now depend on the Nkwanta stretch towards Basa, all the way to Damongo, all the way to Tamale, among others.
Very well.
And here across the stretch, people are really certain as to what will happen. Last year, in June, when similar clashes happened, we're told that 1,055 people were displaced. 49 houses were touched at the time. And so if you look at the figures now, you realize that this is becoming a major crisis on our hands, and we do not know how soon it's going to end. And so basically, that is the situation in Nkwanta as I speak to you.
Absolutely. Faisal appreciates the report, and thank you so much. Earlier, you heard the OT Regional Minister, John Kwejo Japon, speaking for the first time on the Nkwanta renewed attacks that has claimed at least 5 people in this week alone. Remember that 7 a.m. tomorrow here on TV3, there will be key points with Alfred Okansi and his panelists. You know, the lineup is fantastic. You want to join them then. And then also 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon, make sure that you make a date with me on Hot Issues. It's time for me to run out of the studio. I appreciate your time. This is Ghana Tonight, and I am Kemini Amano. Bye-bye.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint, superior durability, superior hiding.